Hello guys, welcome to this new video, and in this video we are going to do something that I like doing, and it is a summary of what we have learned so far. So we have learned the section 1.0 security concepts. So we went over the 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. We created PowerPoints for every single one of these sections right here. Um, so what I want you to do, I just want to go back and at least read them and probably just then after that take the quizzes and see how I do with those quizzes. So let's go ahead and start with that PowerPoint that I have created. And I have at least 5 previous videos where I went over this section, this section, this section, and this section. So if you haven't seen my videos, go ahead and watch them on my YouTube channel before watching this video. So let's go ahead and start with this summary. I have a nice PowerPoint. I don't know how nice it is. So here we go, 1.0 security concepts, and it is a summary of every section that I have talked in the past. So we went over the common security principles, and this is really important that you need to know this. You need to know the CIA, which is confidentiality, which means that only authorized person can see the data, and you can do that by having a username and a password. Then we have data integrity. This is when that data hasn't been modified by an unauthorized users, and you can have data integrity by using hash. So you can use either SHA-1, SHA-2, or the other one is MD5 that you can use. We have availability, which is when the data is available to authorized users whenever, when, and where they need it. You can have availability by having two ways to get out of your network. So if you have like Comcast and Verizon, you can have those 2 ways to get to the internet. So if Comcast goes down, then you can just use Verizon, and you're always going to have availability. And then we have SIEM, and it is just like a live log and event management network. And one of those are Splunk, and the other one is SolarWinds, I think it is called, something like that. And then what assets are property, people information, or data. This is what we want to protect with the CIA, right? With confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Then we have vulnerability, which is a weakness in the system or design. Maybe a firewall is unpatched. Maybe we have a weak password there, or we do not have a password at all, which happens a lot. Or we have the default password, which is just even worse. And then we have a threat, and that's that potential danger to assets. So our potential danger to a property, people, information, or data. Risks, potential for unauthorized access to compromise, destroy, or cause damage. Either a firewall with no password, reset or network devices, or no network access. And then we have countermeasure, which mitigates potential risk. So we could use like a firewall to mitigate those risks by blocking ports and access to our network, right? And here we go, more common security principles. Now we have these 3 zones that we use. They're private, which is the trusted network, and it's commonly referred to as the inside zone, and it is controlled by us. So that's where you put your private network. Then we have the public network, which is the untrusted network, and it's commonly referred to as the outside security zone, and cannot be controlled by us, right? It is controlled by everybody, I guess. And then we have the DMZ, and this zone contains a small number of systems whose services are made available to systems residing outside of that zone. So the DMZ zone is the zone that is available for the public network. The private network, we do not want anybody from the public to go in there. We only want the public to come into the DMZ. And on the DMZ, you could have like a DNS server, your HTTP website, or any storage that you have in there that you want people from the outside to be able to access it. And now moving on to the 1.2, which is common security threats. So in the 1.2a, we identify common network attacks. Recon, recon, that's when they go in and they want to go in undetected on your network. They just want to do recon to gather information on your network so they know how to attack it. Social engineering, um, this is when they try to like scam people, either via email, text, or even a phone scam could do it. A backdoor, um, a backdoor is like something that the hacker can leave. So whenever they come back, it is easy for them to come in. And a brute force, this is when they try to get your password as many times as they can. Private privilege escalation, that's whenever somebody gives them self access that they do not need. Botnets are just like a bunch of a bunch of computers that are managed by other people, and they can be used to do a DDoS, which is a distributed denial of service attack, which is distributed means that it's coming from a lot of different ways and a lot of different places, and they can use botnets to do a DDoS. Then we have the main in the middle attack, and that's whenever somebody um, tries to scan, not scan, but get in the middle of a conversation so they can hijack it and get all your information, right? And this is how you can protect your network against attacks. So you can have the least privilege role rotation, so not everybody has the same role over and over, just in case they're leaving people to come in on port 1,000, whatever. Let's say that on port 1,000, and whenever you rotate it to some other person comes in and they see that role, the port 1,000 is open, they can just go ahead and close it because the person before just left it open so they could hack into the network. And then we have auditing is another way that you can protect against attacks. And then we have defense in depth, and that means that you can have like a firewall, um, like a bunch of firewalls and use different ways to protect your network. And then this is some of the types of social engineering, which is phishing, phone scams, and malvertism. This is when you install a software that you don't need, and it just gives you a lot of ads and stuff like that. And then this is how we are able to identify malware. You can use NetFlow, IP events, or Snort. And then we can classify the vectors of the data loss and exfiltration. This is when the data that is going out of your network, people are not really concerned about the data that is going out of your network. Um, they only care about the traffic coming in, so they don't really do um, a lot of security methods are not implemented for the traffic going out, only for the traffic coming in. And this is how a lot of scammers can get your IP, your credit cards, and your PII as well. And now we're moving on to the cryptography concept. This one was one of my favorites because it just, I think it was one of the most difficult, but I was able to understand a lot better. And the, the hash algorithm, this is a fixed value used for data integrity. We talk about data integrity, right? We use hash algorithm for that. Asymmetric is the one that uses the same key to encrypt and decrypt. It is faster and uses less CPU, and it is used to encrypt the VPN traffic to encrypt, and it is also to encrypt HTTPS, right? Or TLS. HTTPS used TLS before, used to use SSL, not anymore. Asymmetric uses a private and a public key. Remember, asymmetric uses two different keys, and symmetric uses the same key. So it uses a private and a public key used to encrypt and decrypt. So the public is used to encrypt it, and the private we use it to decrypt. It is slower, uses more CPU, and it is used to encrypt the VPN authentication, and it is used to send over the symmetric shared public key. Digital signatures is a signature that you use to sign your data that says that you are actually the one sending that data over. Certificates, they are issued by the CA. Um, um, and they're used to identify our asymmetric public and private key. Um, the certificate, yeah, we get it. I think the certificates is how we get our asymmetric private and public key. Okay, and the PKI is the infrastructure that manage keys and certificates. Okay, moving on to the 1.4, which is the one video that we did like a day ago, which we described the network topologies. Then the first one is the CAN, which is the campus area network, and it's just multiple LANs connected in a limited area. Then we have the WAN, which is multiple LANs connected in a large geographical area. Data center are a facility that holds large servers, either for storage or any other stuff, right? Then we have a software as a service, which hosts software and license application, just like OneDrive. Platform as a service, it provides you with the software and the hardware power that you need, and that's all it does. But the IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service, provides you with everything you need over the internet, including firewall, storage, OS, everything you need to run a company. IaaS gives you. And now we are done with this summary. And what we are going to start doing is we're going to start lab. So we're going to be labbing a lot more on the videos. On the I did 4 or 5 videos before this one, and I only did one lab, and it was just to show you an example of the CIA. But now we're going to start doing a lot more labbing than we have done in the past. So it's going to be a lot more fun, guys. It's not going to be all PowerPoints. Okay, guys. So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it, guys. I love you. And if you guys do not follow me on Twitter, you should go ahead and follow me on Twitter, CCNA Daily Tips. If you don't have a Twitter account, I bet you have an email. So go ahead and create an account with your email and then follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.